Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? Wonderful to see all of you here today. Excellent, excellent. You know, one of the most underrated parts about manifesting our reality is our perception. You know, our perception really shapes the way we see our world. Now the thing about perception is, listen to the word perception. Perception basically means the one thing that we can control is how we view and react to something. And that's very, very powerful in the manifestation process. And here is why. Because a thing that most people don't know, or a lot of individuals, they don't know this about manifestation or creating your reality, is that you can be in a certain situation, right? And the situation may have a certain outlook that you don't like. Let's say you're in a situation where you want more abundance, right? But you're not abundant. And you are aware that I'm not abundant. That's the situation. But here's the power of perception. In that moment, when you're in that situation of the lack, if you change your perception, you say, you know what? I understand this is lack, but I'm starting to see this as abundance. And I'm starting to feel like this is going to change. That situation that we're lacking will actually start to manifest to become abundance. Why does it happen? This is a very, very crucial part of the manifesting process that a lot of people don't know, is that our perception can change our reality. So it goes back into a deeper analogy. What is reality? Reality is perception. So that means any situation that you are in, if you can focus on it, if you can see it a different way, if you can see it and feel it in a way that resonates with you, that situation will actually morph and become what you examined it, what you experienced it to become. And let's dive deeper into why this happens. It's in the science of physics, of quantum mechanics. So what's really happening, guys, behind the scenes is a bunch of energy and information, and it's controlled and processed through the brain and through the thoughts. So we have something equipped with us, which is imagination and feelings and emotions. When our feelings and emotions affect our reality, that's energy. That's why they call it emotions, energy in motion. So what happens is we are constantly communicating with a field that's generating our physical experience based on what we think and what we feel a lot. So that means, so there's two types of field. There's what we call the automatic field, that's called the default field. And then we have another field where we call the rendering field. Let me talk about the default field. The default field is what you see in the matrix, is what presents itself to you. That's a product of programming. So if you're in a state where everything is lack and messed up, that's called a default field. But you also have the next field, the rendering field. The rendering field is where you can affect the default field. That means you can literally change the point where you're at by changing how you feel about it. It can magically morph into your favor. That's what I'm saying to you. So what I'm actually saying to you, if you're in a state where you're in lack, you don't feel good, your health, whatever situation you're in, if you change the way you look at that situation, so you know what, find something good in it. You know, this situation is actually preparing me for my dream. This situation is actually preparing me and training me to feel better. Man, I wonder what it would look like for me to feel better. I wonder what it would feel like to have this. That default state will start to transmutate and become your new rendering state. You know, the old saying goes, you know, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that's totally true, because it's about our perception. The thing I want you guys to really understand about reality, and this will help you to manifest, there is no reality, people. There's only our perception. Think about that. That's how powerful you and I are. Our perceptions will make us see a reality. So if you go to the fundamental point of it, man, there is really no reality. So everything is a perception. So everything will generate based on me internally, how I see it, how I feel about it. Can I find something good in this? Can I find something to be grateful for about this? Can I use this as a feedback moment? That's the questions you should be asking, and that's what you should be implementing to change the field. So once you change the field now, magically it's like, wow. And this can happen subtle, and it can happen suddenly. And let me show you something about it. So let's get deeper into it. All right. What is the reason we want stuff in our life? Why do we want what we want? We want what we want because of how it makes us feel. You want money? You want the money because it brings you a feeling of security, a feeling of peace, a feeling of power, a feeling of invincibility, whatever it is. It's a feeling. Makes you feel a certain way. You want love? Makes you feel wanted, desired, appreciated. So everything we do, we strive for a certain feeling. The feeling validates the perception. So all we have to do, so if I can feel first what I want, then what I want will feel me next and manifest. So I don't have to go and try to create what I want. I just have to feel what I want to me, what it means. What would it make me feel like to have that or this? I do that, I'm in the rendering state. That's very powerful. We should be exercising that every day. We should see our situations the way we would like to see them and perceive them a different way. Every situation you encounter, there is something good or a feedback you can create from it. You can make it up. Whatever, it's a story, it's your world, it's your life, it's your reality. You can say, hey, you know what? This situation right here is only happening because it's going to prepare me. You can use your lack, anything. You can say, you know what? I may be in lack right now, but you know what? This lack is preparing me to show me the duality of when I become rich. So now I'm appreciating what it is to be at the bottom, because now I'm going to be at the top. That's going to work for you. It doesn't have to make sense. Doesn't have to make sense. Let me tell you why it doesn't have to make sense. Check this out. Because the part that renders the feel doesn't make sense. It's your subconscious mind that's doing it. In your conscious mind, it wants everything to make sense. You're right. It says to you, you're right. This is not preparing you for no wealth. You're just broke. You just don't have it. You're in lack, man. Let's go. We gotta go work hard. We gotta figure a way out of this. That makes sense. But that's not going to bring you what you want. Because your mind cannot bring things from the field. Your mind can only perceive what the field puts in. Your mind is an observer from the field. So that's what I'm showing you, and this is very crucial that you know. It doesn't have to. Listen, it only have to make sense to you. It doesn't have to make sense to your mind. It only have to appeal to your delusion. Make it appeal to your delusion. And the reason is this, I'll go back, it's the subconscious mind. In the subconscious mind, there exist infinite possibilities. So infinite possibilities to you and I looks like illogical things because we can't imagine those. So we haven't gotten to those things. So these becomes illogical. There is no logic we can make from infinity. So everything goes and says in the subconscious mind. Anything is possible. So think about that. Everything is illogical. That means everything will make sense to the subconscious. All you have to care about is the subconscious. You can do this with anything. You can manifest your ideal body. You can manifest your ideal health, your ideal what we call map of reality, of abundance. You can do this with anything because all you have to do, and let me share it with you again, you perceive whatever situation you're in, you find something that works for you to make it a benefit to you, or to make it a feedback moment to you, and then you attach the feeling of what it would feel like to have that thing change in there. Now you influence your subconscious mind, because all the field can do, the field can just give us infinite parts of reality. It's its primary job. There is a answer, there is a reality, there is a shift for every possible thing in the field. So the thing we must understand, or I could say overstand, is to pay attention to the mind a lot. Notice if your mind is trying to make things logical for you, then you know you are off your alignment to manifest. If you're into more of a possibility, or into your delusional state, into an infinite possibility, if you're in the creative part of your mind where you just have a knowledge that anything is possible, everything is working out in my favor, things can change instantly, things are changing instantly, then you are moving towards bringing what you want into physical reality. And the reason is, and I'll go back again if you're just joining this live, and the simple reason is, and I said before, there is no reality, there is only perceptions and stories. We perceive things a certain way, it becomes a certain way. I'll give you a prime example. Have you ever perceived, let's see, the best example I can give you to make this. So, we all have stereotypes about people. Have you ever noticed when you perceive someone to be a certain way, they kind of start to act a certain way? Your brain starts to show you evidence that they are that certain way, but they may not be that certain way, right? That's an example of how we perceive things. Our brain tells us stories all the time. You see something else, you say, oh man, that's gonna, I wonder what they're doing that. And then you look, your brain starts showing you evidence of that. Yeah, see, exactly, that's right. Because it's your perception of that thing. So don't worry about what is happening in the field, in the matrix part of this stuff. You don't focus on that. All you got to do is observe it and render it in a different perception that's going to fit you. And remember again, it doesn't make sense. This is not required to make sense to your mind. This is only required to make sense to your subconscious mind. And listen, a lot of us, we shun away from that because we have been taught, through our life, that things have to make sense, things have to be logical, we have to see a way out, we have to see a linearity. You don't have to do any of that, because that's not how the stuff come into reality. We have been duped into believing that we create or generate most of our experiences in our lives by our mind. And that's not true. It's far from the truth. We create and generate 99% of our experiences from our subconscious mind. The only thing we generate from our conscious mind is the awareness, the observation, the processing, the observing, the judgment, the critic, and linear time we make up. That's the only thing. So what I like to do is, when I manifested my lottery, that's the state I was in. I did that all the time. I realized that. I looked at my current reality and I said, you know what? Yeah, this is just preparing me for my dream life, my car, my lottery money, and da-da-da. I'm in training. I used to see myself, I'm in training. I'm like, you're training for your job. I'm in training, man. This is training me for my next. That's how I used to see it. And voila, it came into existence. See that? So again, remember this, guys, it's the perception that will change the entire field for us. You guys see how that works? Comment below if you've experienced something where you change your perception and the thing change. It actually comes into your field. And this is the big thing. You have to do this all the time. And the reason why you want to do this all the time is because you want to get your brain into a rhythm, into a program, into a state where it's now going to automatically do it for you. So that means every time now you're going to walk and you go see a situation, your brain now is actually going to start to talk to you and help you and say, hey man, remember, let's do this, let's do this. So it actually start to work for you. This is how you get the mind on an automatic manifesting mode. Right.